and welcome to the very first episode of my very first ever podcast, My Messy Home and Me. My name is Leanne, and I am excited to just be taking off the mask. That's what this episode is called, Taking Off the Mask, because for nearly 40 years, that is so scary to say, I can't believe I'm saying that. For nearly 40 years, I've basically been living a lie. I've been living a little in the land of make-believe and pretending to conform to society's norms. And I don't conform very well. I don't know how many people I will fool in, but hey ho. So, who am I? Who am I to be sat here talking about this sort of stuff to you? Well, like I say, I am nearly 40 and I am extremely messy. I'm a very messy girl, and I have been forever and ever. I am a single mum of 2 kids, and I don't think that helps to my load. And I've lost my train of thought completely, which is probably going to be a theme throughout this because, hey, neurodivergent and all that. So I have decided to do these podcasts purely because I don't want people to feel the way I felt my whole life, basically, which is like I'm a square peg trying to fit into a round hole and it's not worked. And it doesn't matter how hard I try, that peg ain't going in. It's just not happening. And up until recently, I have thought, well, there's something wrong with me then, isn't there? Like, these tasks that I can't do aren't difficult tasks, but I just can't do them. So that is why I'm taking off my mask. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm owning it. I am owning it. And I want you all to own it too. If you have any of these struggles like me, let's just own it together. Come on, let's just rip off the mask. I should have put a mask on. There we go. I've taken off my mask. And that's what this is all about. So for me, if you'd have come up to me 2-3 years ago and gone, do you know what, Leanne, have you thought that you might have got ADHD? I'd have probably laughed in your face and gone, no, I can sit still. I'm not a child. I'm not a little boy running around his classroom with his tie around his head, not listening to a teacher. Of course I don't have ADHD. Like, genuinely, that was my stereotypical thought of ADHD, and I don't think I'm on my own there. Obviously, I'm a little bit more clued up now, but that is really what I thought it was. But I started to get memes and TikToks and reels sent to me, like, this is you. And it's like a car full of rubbish and messy houses and just chaos everywhere. They'd see chaos, they'd think of me, and they'd send it to me. And at first I was like, oh yeah, it is, yeah, oh yeah, that's me, yeah. And then I just thought, hang on, the link to all these videos is ADHD. And I just thought, really? And as you do then, you'll go and you go down your little rabbit hole and have a look. And I'm like, do you know what, there might be something in this. But true ADHD style, kind of just forgot all about it. And then there was one pivotal moment, and isn't it weird? Like, it was like an out-of-body experience. So I was going out my back door, I think I was heading to the shed. And behind my back door, I've got a TV unit, and obviously it's piled with stuff. Of course it is. No surface is free. Everything's fair game. And as I was going out, I knocked something on the floor. I can't remember what it was now. And it wasn't like a piece of paper, but it was something fairly substantial. And I caught myself stepping over it to just carry on about my business going to the shed. And I remember, like, I clocked what I'd done. And I was like, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, I thought, what is the matter with you? Are you autistic or something? And that was a thought I had in my head. And I don't mean any offence by it, because there's a chance I could be autistic. I could have actually been right. But like, I was like, that's not a normal thing to do. And I just realised it. And I'm like, how often do I do this and not click that that's what I've done? And no wonder my house is just a mess, because it's like I don't see it. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, clearly, normally, that's just something I would do, but I wouldn't realise that's what I'm doing. Almost like I'm so focused in getting to where I'm going or doing the thing that I'm trying to do, like go to the shed for whatever reason, that I just didn't seem to think it was time to stop and pick up what I dropped. So that then made me think, do you know what? There really could be something to this. So I then went and sat on my desk. I was supposed to be working, but I work for myself, it's all right. And I got on my laptop and I really went down that rabbit hole, and I was finding different videos, different articles, and then I landed on a TED Talk. And that, I know, sounds really cringy, but that was almost like a pivotal life-changing moment. And I'd love to know what this TED Talk is, because I want to watch it again. But I just sat and I cried. I sobbed, like full on ugly crying. And I don't remember the last time I cried like that, really. But I was sat on my own in my living room at my desk, like, because I was like, it's not just me. Oh my goodness. Like, these people are like me. If they get a fine or a bill, they won't pay it in time. They'll probably wait till they've got bailiffs knocking at their door to pay it, and they don't open letters that they get. You know, I've known I've been messy my whole life, but, you know, it was just everything, like being late, not doing assignments or not doing things till the very last minute when you've had, like, weeks to do it, and you're there stressing, cramming it in at the last minute. That's how I do everything. And there was so much more to it, but I was just like, wow. And I think it was probably relief in a weird way. Like, obviously, this isn't a diagnosis. This is like, honestly, it was like tick, 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 tick. I don't think there was anything on there. Maybe being fidgety, like, I'm not really a tapper. I'll do other weird things, like if I'm sat and trying to relax, I'll probably grab things. Like last night I noticed in bed, the way I was sat, and I was like really squeezing my wrist, and I'm like, this isn't relaxed. You're like full on gripping for life on your own wrist. But majority of it, I'm just like ticking through this, and I just breathed a sigh of relief that the question I have been asking myself since being a genuinely, I'll go on to this in a minute if I remember to circle back to it, but since being a child, I have said to myself, what is wrong with you? Like, oh my God, I'd love to know how many times I've asked myself that. What is wrong with you? It's not that hard. It's not hard to just do your homework. It's not that hard to just tidy as you go. It's not that hard to remember to put petrol in your car. Like, these simple, mundane tasks that everybody else just does see almost effortlessly, and it's probably not like that for everyone, but for the majority of people, it's just automatic. For me, it wasn't, but actually there might be a reason, and learning that it's genuinely a physical thing going up in here, like literally wired a little bit wonky donkey, or what, I'm still learning, but like, wow, there could actually like be an explanation as to why I've been like this forever. So I want to shout about it from the rooftops, because I've grown up feeling that way, and it's not nice. When I've reflected now, it's not nice, because you're not nice to yourself. And I've shared videos of the state of my house. Like, I'm really trying to, like I say, rip off this mask and not be ashamed anymore. And some of the comments, as you can imagine, are horrendous, and they are horrible. But when I think about it, I was like, well, there's nothing that they're saying that I haven't said to myself. And I thought, God, that's really quite sad, isn't it? Like, and I wouldn't say that I'm not a confident person. I've done drama. That was what I did at uni and all through school. You know, I love that. Like, I'm not a shy person. But when I again look back, I'm like, well, maybe I have got some issues there. Because I remember, I don't know how old I would have probably been, 16, around there. And I had a little job in a little cafe, Mrs. Miggs. It was brilliant. And there was a few girls that we worked there together, sort of Saturday job kind of thing. And I'd made friends with them. They were lovely. We'd work together each week. We'd have a good laugh while we were working. And then one week they were like, oh, we're going to go. We worked in town. So I was like, we're going to go and have a wander around town. Do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, I'll come. And I again, it's just weird what you remember, but we was in Topshop and looking around, and then like we got lost. Like I lost them, and after I kind of had a look to see if I could see them, the first thought that entered my head was, they don't want to hang out with you, so they've ditched you. And that was like, why is that the first thing that would have come to my head? So clearly I do have some sort of self-esteem issues, but I never would have said I had. But clearly, back when I was 16, I just got separated from my mates for a little bit, and I was like, oh, well, they've dumped you now. They don't, nah, they've had enough of you. So it has been deep-rooted for such a long time. And I want people to know, I want women especially to know that this is a thing. Like, women are so underdiagnosed in this, like massively. They'll often get diagnosed with depression or anxiety, so many things before ADHD, because again, like it's a boy thing. So yeah, I just think, and people say like, oh well, what does it matter? Do you really need the label? And it's not the label, it's the reason why you're like you are. And then knowing that, well, stop trying to fit your square peg into the round hole. Take your square peg and fit it in a square hole, and doing things that work for you that might not work for anybody else. Like, you know that you'll fold your clothes after the 50th time of washing and drying them, obviously. You'll fold them, you'll take them upstairs to your bedroom, and you'll sit them there because you're going to put them away later, aren't you? Of course you are. That's what we're all going to do. And then bedtime rolls around, you get upstairs, you see the clothes, you're like, oh, I hate myself right now, why didn't I put it away earlier? There it goes onto the floor. And if you're anything like me, the next day's load, will go back onto them. And then this nice pile will then droop and then end up all over your floor, and you'll have to rewash it because it's just kind of got all mishmashed. And I've completely lost what I was saying.
Get completely mishmashed.
What?
The washing will get completely mishmashed.
I know, but what was the point in that? And doing this, telling a story. I'm being so into the story, and then forgetting why on earth you were telling a story. Oh yeah, I'm back. Oh, my life. Well, I'm taking off the mask. Here I am. I've remembered. So instead of just putting them on the floor, like we're trying to fit it in, that's the round hole, is putting them like away. So we're going to put them on the floor because you're going to put them away. Like, get a basket and put the clothes in the basket. Is it quite as good as away? No, but you're working with yourself. Like, that's what I've learned as well, just to yourself. Like, I know, yeah, I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. I'm not going to do those things in one day. Or, my to-do list could be so big. Like, I used to tell myself I'd have a day off, and I'm like, right, you've got to sort this house out. The house is ridiculous. Sort the house out. There is no way I'm getting top to bottom in my house. And I would write my list down, like bedroom, this bedroom, kids' bedroom, bathroom. That ain't going to happen. I've applied for Sort Your Life Out 3 times. That's how bad my house is. As if I'm going to be able to do that top to bottom, like in school hours. It's just not happening. And I was setting myself up for a fail. So I'm just learning not to just go, forget it, but just tweak it. And that's why I've devised my 10-minute tidies. They do help me quite a lot in just staying focused in one area. So I will be touching on that probably in a later episode. But I just thought I'd give you guys a bit of a background about me to know where I'm coming from, and just hopefully that you will relate and get it. Because they do say as well, don't they, like, you can't just get ADHD, you've got to have had it from being a child. And I don't know whether it's my age, obviously it's been around, but it wasn't really anything I heard about. I heard like some kids had dyslexia in class, and that would kind of be about it. Like, I wouldn't know of any other learning disabilities. I think that was kind of the only one that I would be aware of. I'm like, is it a learning disability? Because I don't think I have a problem learning, it's just how you learn. But I wasn't brilliant at school. I was a good girl because I don't want to get told off and I like to follow the rules and things, but I just struggled a lot, especially with homework. Couldn't do homework, didn't do that very well. Often didn't do it, or I'd do it like that morning on the way to school or whatever. But even when I really think back to my childhood, there's a moment I remember, and I got quite upset actually thinking about this, not only like a few days ago. And I just remember like having to tidy my bedroom because, shock horror, there was no floor. And that's a cycle I kind of stay in my adult life, almost like it just gets horrendous and it's like, ugh, better sort this. Like, again, almost like I don't see the build up, I just see the aftermath. And I was having to do it, and I remember being sat on my, I don't know how old I must have been, 7, 8, 9, shall I just carry on? Roughly there. And I had a doll, and I was trying to, like, its baby grow needs to go back on, because that's part of the tidying up. And the baby grow wouldn't fit, because it was actually a real baby grow, not for a doll. And that was just like, I can feel the rage. And I was just like, oh. And I remember launching it across my bedroom because I was so frustrated that this baby girl wasn't fitting properly. It's never fit properly. I know that. Like, I don't know why I got so angry over it. And then I'm looking around at all my mess and I'm just like, as a child, I remember saying to myself, why am I like this? Why can't I just put it away? And I used to say to myself, it's not hard. As a child, it's not hard. You pick one thing up, you put it away. You pick the other thing up, you put it away. It's not that hard. And I would literally be picking stuff up in my bedroom, shouting like that to myself, to the point where at times I used to like really, only in my legs, because maybe I knew the face is too delicate, but like I used to really punch myself and try and hurt, like it was, like I say, my legs, because they were there, I guess, with pure sort of rage at, I think, myself, that I'd let this happen again, and frustration of like, why are you not just getting up and doing it then? You know you've got to do it. You know your mum's going to come up them stairs and she is going to kill you because you haven't done it and she sent you up here to do it. So why aren't you doing it? And it's just like all these things as a child, and it was just awful. And still now I get rage, which is why I do the 10-minute tidy up, so I don't walk into a room now and get that overwhelm of like, you have got to tidy this room up now, like you've got to get this all done, this has got to be done. I'll be like, and I'd walk away, I'd walk out because I know I'm gonna get like the rage. And now I'm just like, right, you've got 10 minutes and you will be so surprised what you can get done in 10 minutes. Like, honestly, 10 minutes, tunes on, and just go for it. And sometimes I'll carry on because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing well here. Like, look at what I've done. And I'll carry on. Other times I'll be like, that's enough for today. But it helps. It helps a lot. And when I've posted about that on my socials, sometimes people are like, why don't you do it for half an hour? Oh, can you start setting it for an hour? And I'm like, no, because that defeats the object and that won't work for me. It might work for you, and that is great, because that's what we've all got to do. We've all got to do what works for us. But I'm starting to accept that neurotypical things aren't going to work for me, and accept that that's okay, and to make changes that suit me and what I do. And does it matter? Does it matter whether I clean my kitchen before I go to bed or in the morning? Because apparently it does. Massively. Do not leave food out overnight, because wow, the TikTok police will come at you for that one. But I do, because I'm a morning person. So I could go in the kitchen before bed to like tie, and I'd just be like, and the rage will come, because I am not good of an evening, and my son will vouch for that. I get up at 5 because I'm lazy, because that's another word we get branded as. I'm lazy, and that's what I've thought my whole life. I must be lazy because my house isn't tidy. And then again, it's trying to reflect. I'm using that word a lot, I know I am, but a lot of it has been reflection and, really understanding myself. So yeah, I'd be like, oh, I'm lazy, and that is something that I've had in my head my whole life. I'm lazy, I'm lazy, I'm lazy. But then I'll think about the day, I'm not lazy. How am I lazy? Because I've not stopped. All right, maybe I have not done the task that I was supposed to do, but I haven't been sat on my bum watching telly all day, like chilling. Not at all. Um, but it's just like all these new words in my vocabulary now. Like executive dysfunction is a thing. And this is why I'm wanting to take off the mask now, really, because when I look back, I don't think that a lot of my friends, I don't think a lot of my friends, and I don't think even some of my family would realise quite how much I've been masking, really. Like, when I think about the lies I've told on a day to day basis, it's quite funny. Like, someone's coming round next Friday. And I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no that they could come round because I'm a people pleaser and they've suggested coming over and I can't say no because that's rude and what would they think of me if I did say no and all that jazz. So I'll be like, yeah, come on over. Inwardly, look at the state of the house. Oh my God, how on earth are we going to do this? How? And I would be going like the clappers for a week, sorting the house out so that they could come over, probably just for an hour. And they'd knock at the door. And I'd answer the door and go, oh, so sorry about the state of the house. It's been a hell of a week. I've not had a chance to sort it. Why am I doing this? Because I've clearly spent the best part of a week getting it to look passable as to where you believe that I've not actually done anything in the house. Or I'll go out for someone's birthday. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot to pick your card up. It's on the kitchen table and everything. Oh, what an idiot. Not bought one. I meant to. I really did mean to, but I didn't. And it's just these silly little lies. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, the traffic was horrendous. It wasn't. I just sat in my towel for too long after I'd had a shower because the shower had taken its mental toll on me that I had to then just have a minute, sat in my towel. And I know that I've got to hurry up and get gone, but I didn't. And just all these little lies that I've told quite a lot. And then what's also quite ironic, like thinking back to the birthday situation, is, for example, if it's somebody's birthday and it's someone's birthday I really like, and I might not post cards because I've given up on that a long time ago. If I'm due to see you on your birthday, you'll get a card. If I'm not due to see you, I mean, you might not necessarily get one even if I'm due to see you, but you've got a chance. If I'm not seeing you on your birthday, happy birthday, because that's what you're going to get. But I'll be like, oh, it's such and such's birthday. I won't wish them a happy birthday right now because I want to like put on my stories, you know, as you tag them in it and like wish them a happy birthday and put a nice song on it and some nice photos because, you know, they're a really good friend. Happy birthday's just not enough. But I can't do it right now because I haven't got time, so I'll do that later. And I forget. I completely forget. So instead of me just sending a quick happy birthday, have a great day, because I feel like that's not enough, I then send nothing. And then hate myself for not sending anything. And I've done that so many times. I'm like, when will you learn? Just say happy birthday. They would much rather you just say happy birthday than you say nothing. And I do that with a lot of things because it can't be perfect or it can't be the way I want it. I'll not do it because I'll do it later better. And later never comes because that's something else I've learned. There's a thing, ADHD time is now or not now. Like, you gotta do it now. Otherwise, it's never gonna get done, really, is it? Let's be honest. And that is, like, absolutely spot on. Like, so spot on. And I'm starting to learn it. And that's helping a little bit again as well because sometimes I'll go to do something and I'll think, I'll do that in a bit. And I'm like, no, now or not now. Doesn't always work, but it will sometimes work. My point of this podcast, today was just to give you a bit of a background about me, because I always think you've got to get on with your podcast that you listen to. Like, some people annoy you. If I annoy you, I apologise. You know, so you've got to like who you're listening to, haven't you? You've got to be like, oh, okay. So this is the ramblings you're going to get from me, basically. I'm still waiting on therapy, which I think I need a lot. As closer I'm, like, older I'm getting, I feel like the more therapy I do need for a lot of things. But I'm glad that I've learned about ADHD, because it's helping me already make changes and accept who I am. And it's like, I didn't realise, I've always been called a people pleaser, and I didn't realise that was a thing, because I would rather say yes to not upset you and be in an uncomfortable situation, or I don't know, have to like drive back and forth 10 times, because that's easier for you, even though it's so much difficult for me, than to just say, well, actually, no, I can't do that. The way I've said it in my head is, oh, it's okay, I can deal with it. But that's not okay. Like, that's not okay. And I always overthink what people are going to think of me, to the point. I'm really good friends with my neighbours. They're amazing. I love them to bits. And they've got 3 children. At the time of this story, they had 2, and their youngest was, I don't know, 2 or 3. And I was, well, this is really a random part. I was cleaning my windowsill in the kitchen. That, like, is an anomaly. That doesn't happen. There must have been a glitch in the matrix there. But I was cleaning my windowsill, and I saw their little girl come outside. And I just obviously was waiting for, like, mum or dad to follow. And they didn't. And I was like, ooh, has she snuck out? Because we all know how good kids are at doing that. So I went outside, and she was giving me the evils, like, stood at the front of her dad's car. And I was just watching her, because I wanted to know that I'm there to not, she knew who I was, but like, to not let her go and run off or get in any danger. But I didn't want to go and knock on the door straight away, because I didn't want her parents, to think that I would think that they're bad parents. Like, what? That makes no sense on any level. Does that make sense? Like, once kids can reach the door handle, that's it. It's fair game. Like, they can probably turn a key. It's so simple. And I'm friends with them. They're not even strangers. I'm really good friends with them. But I still was like, oh, I'll wait. I don't know what I was waiting for, but I was just waiting. Because again, I was like, it's okay. I can handle this. I make sure she's not going to be in any danger. And I was like, you're such an idiot. I do things like that. Or I just overthink replying to text messages, because I couldn't just say no, or well, that won't work. I'm like, oh no, hang on. No, I always have to like poof it out. I have to make it just really airy fairy, instead of just going, oh, sorry, I can't. So I am trying this year, 2025, the year I'm turning 40. Life begins at 40, so they say. So maybe, just maybe, I'm going to get my stuff together. I am decluttering the hell out of this house. It needs it so desperately. So you can come on that journey with me. I am going to learn to be more boundaried. I am going to say no, because that's a complete sentence. I don't know how I'm going to get on with that one, but I'll try. I'm going to try and just put myself first a bit more. And try and come up with some system that actually works for my neurospicy brain. So come along on the journey. I would love you to come along on the journey. Delve into the mess of my house. And when I say mess, I mean mess. You know, like there's them people like, oh, I'm really messy. Sorry, my house is really messy. And like there's a cup out and that's it. And you're like, where's the mess? I see your mess and I raise it 5,000 times. So that is my aim. I want us to build this community, because it's a fantastic community of feeling heard and feeling seen and not feeling shame, because it's not easy for us. As much as people will say, it's just easy, tidy as you go, or just write notes, and that's great. I'll write notes. I've got notes for notes, but do I look at them again? No. Like, we need to find systems that work for us, and that's what I'm really trying to find out this year. So I will share any tips that I think work for me with you. Hopefully you'll be back here with me next week. I have never done a podcast before. I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Is there a right and wrong way? Who knows? But if you've listened this far, thank you ever so much for listening. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe. Is that what you even do to podcasts? and I'll speak to you next week. Thank you.